A lot of you did not even have the chance to meet Jaeden, so I appreciate you being here, celebrating his birthday with me. I won't look up because that will just make everything harder, so I'm just going to look down and read. It's all scattered thoughts pretty much that I put together, so there's no real rhyme or flow to any of this. So I'm going to read right off here. It's interesting how things work out. Some things better than others, but there's always an experience and something to take away from it. I learned a lot from Jaeden in his 3 years, 10 months and 20 days of his life, and even the 37 weeks prior. And looking back, he was a perfect teacher for me. I never really realized how immature and plain dumb I was until this extremely fragile and medically complicated kid burst into my life. Soon I found the things that truly mattered in life. I learned that going out and getting drunk every Friday night wasn't so important. And he taught me no matter what you're going through, there's always a reason to smile. Jaeden's body was a little too advanced for this world. I like to think it was made more for Mars or Jupiter or something like that. But despite his fragile body, his energy was that of a regular kid. Kicking his legs and swinging his arms was all he needed to have a good time. And his pacifier. But it was a wild road of ups and downs. Some days ranged from him being happy and smiling to him being in the hospital on a breathing mask with all kinds of lines in him. But he was strong, and he was a fighter. And never a single day in his life did he quit. And I've never been prouder of anything or anyone in my life. His strength gave me strength. He was the strongest person I ever had the privilege to meet. I still remember the day I found out that he was going to be sick. The pain I felt then put a lot of things into perspective. Life is precious, life is tough, life is beautiful. After I found out that he couldn't sustain his life any longer, I felt broken. There was no feeling like the feeling of being a parent and not being able to do a single thing to help your child.
Yes.
I felt weak. But I was able to spend some time talking to Jaeden during his last few days. And I talked to him about our great times together in the past. And I talked to him about the future and where things go from here. Keep in mind that Jaeden couldn't speak, so I'm just talking his ear off, and I'm pretty sure he just wanted me to shut up. But we came to a conclusion. I will be the best person I can be every single day. I will not waste a day. I will live my life so that I will get the opportunity to hold him again. And he will keep me in line and make sure I stay on track. And after I was done talking finally, we just kind of were looking at each other. And then he smiled at me. For the first time since he had been admitted in the hospital in November, he let me know that everything was going to be okay. Naturally, when I found out I was going to be a father, I had some fatherly thoughts. My kids playing sports, me coming home from work and him running to me yelling "Daddy," cruising in the car singing songs at the top of our lungs. But soon after we found out he was going to be a boy, we found out that he was going to have a heart condition and a spine abnormality that would prevent him from walking. So I had to mourn those dreams early. So I used to tell myself I was going to make him a champion chess player. And when he was born, the complications multiplied. He couldn't eat, we couldn't even hold him because he was missing the front of the C6 in his spine, and he couldn't breathe very well. But he was perfect to me. I loved him from day one, and I will always love him. You can make whatever plans you want in your life. You also have to be able to adapt and roll with whatever life throws at you. I learned that quick. He was my greatest creation, and he was mine. I never felt that I was good at a lot of things, but one thing I knew I would be good at was being a father, even at a young age. I have a heart filled with love to give, so when this kid came into my life, there was nothing I knew how to do except love him. I kissed him and I hugged him at every opportunity. I cuddled him all day, most days I was with him, and we exchanged smiles often. After his mother and I went our separate ways, I eventually had to accept the fact that I wouldn't see him every day. So he became my Friday night buddy and my Saturday book and movie pal. Every Saturday morning, I would wake up to him moving around, and when I got up to see what he was up to, he would give me the biggest smile. He was always so happy. It's such a pleasure to wake up early for. That smile became my energy and something that I looked forward to. It got me through my weeks. And whenever he needed me, I would make sure I was there. In the middle of the night, when he wasn't feeling well, his mom would call me to ask for my opinion on whether he needed to go in. So I would drive over and pick him up and take him if I needed to. He was always a daddy's boy, and I wanted to make sure that that didn't change. I take comfort in the fact that he is no longer sick and no longer in the hospital being poked, and he won't need any more surgeries. And that wherever he is, he's breathing nice big breaths and running on his two beautiful legs and jumping and laughing and living the life that a kid should be living. Since he left, every day has been so difficult. I did not get enough time with my son. Every day I wonder why things had to be so hard for him and why he didn't stay with me. But I'll never understand. But as long as he knows that I loved him in every aspect of his truly complicated self, I can live with that. When Jaeden was born, I was a scared, irresponsible kid, definitely not ready to be a father. And I hope that on the day he passed and for the rest of my life, I will be someone that he is proud to call his dad. Because I couldn't be prouder to call him my son. And until we meet again, I will be living each day for him and his memory. I can't thank him enough for the joy he's brought to my life and all the memories he's given me. Thank you everybody for coming.